Hello friend, welcome to this Yin Yoga sequence for spring renewal. For this practice, you'll want to have a bolster and a couple of blocks, but not to worry if you don't have those props at home. You can easily make some out of things you have around your house. So grab a couple of books, firm, sturdy books, and you can use those as blocks. And if they're not comfortable, you can always cover them in blankets or in a pillowcase. And then to make a bolster cushion, you can grab a couple of blankets and fold them up and make sort of a cylinder shape with the blankets. Might not be as thick and as firm as a bolster cushion, but it'll work just fine. You might also like to grab a cushion or two or a pillow or two just to have nearby. A blanket is not a bad idea to have nearby for Shavasana or if you get cool. And because in this practice we don't move very much, you're welcome to keep lots of layers on or nearby, and you might even choose to keep your socks on for this practice. So once you've gathered all those goodies, we'll start lying down. So take a moment to come down to lie on your back body, just moving your props off to the side for now. And when you come onto your back, you might like some support behind your head. You could do that with a blanket or cushion. And for this, you'll have your knees bent and your feet planted. We're taking constructive rest pose here. Arms rest beside your body, palms face up. This just gives the chest and shoulders a little bit more space to broaden and release. Head rests in center, chin slightly tucked. You have lots of choices with your feet here, so you could have your feet placed about hip distance apart with knees pointing up towards the sky, or you might walk your feet wider apart across your mat and let your knees knock in towards each other. Whichever one feels most easeful, most supportive for your body is great. And take a moment here just to scan your body and see if there's any little adjustment you could make that would bring you even 5% more comfort, more ease here. And take a moment to shift if you need to. You could roll your head just really gently side to side, inviting the muscles through the sides of your neck and throat to release and soften. And then eventually let your head roll back through center. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. And again, inhale, fill up. Exhale, let go. One more, deepest breath yet. And release. You could close your eyes here if that's comfortable for you. Taking these first several moments as your transition time. Letting the events of your day just settle into the background. As you invite into the foreground of your awareness sensations in your body. So notice all the parts of your body in contact with your mat. Your toes, heels, the back of your pelvis. Mid-back and upper back. Backs of your shoulders, arms, and hands. And the back of your skull. Back body really heavy. And front body very soft, receptive. You're welcome to notice sounds in your room and outside, perhaps. Noticing sounds that are nearby and distant sounds. And draw your attention to your breath now. And without doing anything special to your breath, just notice how you're breathing. Notice where you feel the breath in your body and the quality of your breath. It might be deep. It might feel shallow. Maybe it feels smooth like silk. Or rough like sandpaper. Thoughts are fairly inevitable here if you notice that your attention gets caught up in thinking. It's okay. Just really, really gently draw your attention back to your breath. Feel the gentle expansion as you inhale, belly filling. And gentle contraction as you exhale, belly falls. Enjoy about 5 more breaths right here. Notice how, as you inhale, there's an opportunity to invite in vibrancy, renewal. As you exhale, there's an opportunity to soften, to let go, to relinquish. And for your practice today, I invite you to use your breath in this way. With every exhale, letting go of physical or mental tension. And with every inhale, inviting in, feeling for a sense of renewal and vibrancy. And very slowly begin to roll over onto your right side. You can keep your eyes closed or soft. And press your left hand into the mat to come all the way up. And we'll find a seated position here. However you're comfortable, you could be cross-legged, you could be kneeling. And again, lower your gaze or close your eyes. Welcome to keep your hands as they are, Or you might bring your hands to rest over your own body, maybe one hand over your belly, one hand over your heart. Or maybe bring hands into prayer pose at heart center. Taking this moment to set an intention for your practice if you wish. What is it that you need or you wish to cultivate with this time that you've set aside for your yoga practice today? What is it that motivated you to roll out your mat, to make time for practice? If you have an intention, you could repeat it silently 3 times, planting that seed. Whenever that's complete for you, begin to rub your palms together briskly. Keep your eyes closed or gaze lowered. And when your hands feel nice and warm, bring your hands over your eyes. Feel that warmth. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Start to blink your eyes open into your hands, and then release your hands, coming back to the light. Welcome in, namaste. Well, starting in child's pose for our first yin posture today, make your way onto your hands and knees. Now, you might be quite familiar with child's pose and have your very favorite variation. You're welcome to come into that now. If you wanted, you could incorporate props. So whether you have a bolster or some stacked blankets and a cushion, bring your big toes towards each other, knees wide. This is a wide-legged variation of child's pose. So knees moving as wide or even wider than the hips. And then bring your upper body to rest, perhaps over your props here. You could turn your head to one side if that works for you, or you might stack your hands and rest your head on your hands. Or some of you might prefer to have your face pointing straight down. And what you're feeling for here is the first edge of sensation. So that place where you're feeling something, but it's not too much and it's not too little. It's about a 5 out of 10. If you think of the sensation on a scale of 1 to 10, you're feeling for a 5. And once you've found that, you could close your eyes and let your body find stillness. There's a lot of space between your hips and your heels. You're welcome to bring a prop into that space. So a cushion or a bolster works well. And really anywhere that your arms want to be for this posture. In our yin practice, we hold poses for time, usually somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes. And you don't need to worry about timing today. I'll be the timekeeper. I like to tell you when we're about halfway so you can make any adjustments. And then I'll let you know when we're coming towards the end of the pose, the last 3 breaths. Return your attention to your breath here and feel for that lovely expansion as you inhale, contraction as you exhale. And with every exhale, notice there's an opportunity to soften, allowing your bones to be heavy. Muscles can totally relax here. Let the props hold you, let the earth hold you. Even your skin can soften and take up more space. You're at about the halfway point. You could check in and just see if there's any adjustments you need to make to reestablish moderate sensation. So you want to stay at about a 5 out of 10. And that might mean that you need to deepen a little bit to refine that. Maybe you could widen your knees a little bit more. Maybe if you've had a prop underneath your torso, you move that off to the side so you can fold a little deeper. Maybe if you've got a prop between your hips and your heels, you move that off to the side now. Or perhaps the opposite is true, and what felt like moderate sensation now feels too intense, too much. Feels more like an 8 or a 9, in which case you might need to back off a little. And know that you can come out of these poses at any point if you start to experience pain. And pain can manifest in all sorts of ways, but you really want to move away from anything that feels stabbing or shooting, fiery, electrical, even limbs, body parts falling asleep or going numb. These are all indications that your body is in pain and distress, and you do want to move away from sensations like that. But if what you're feeling is a dull aching or throbbing or pulsing, even tingling, well, these are okay sensations. Stay with these sensations and offer them your breath, your attention, your curiosity. And take your final 3 breaths here. You might even let these final 3 exhales come out your mouth. Last 2. Last 1. Very, very important in these yin poses to come out slowly and gently. Take your time now. You can start to walk your hands back up to lift your heart. Stretching for a moment. And now you'll walk your hands forward, stretch your legs out behind you, and come to rest all the way down on your front body. You can either stack your hands underneath your forehead and rest your forehead on your hands, or you might like to turn your head to one side or reach your arms back beside your body. If in the child's pose you had your head turned to one side for the whole time and didn't switch sides, you could just turn your head in the opposite direction as you rest here on your front body. Just bringing some balance to your neck. So we take a minute or 2 between poses just to rest in stillness and allow that last shape, the energy of the shape, the release, to settle, to integrate, to process. Feel here the feedback of your breath, belly breathing down into your mat, down into the earth. Notice any sensations in your body here. Maybe some pulsing or tingling. And take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out your mouth. Slide your hands under your shoulders. Press yourself up through hands and knees and right down onto your seat. Bring your right leg out And fold your left foot in. So taking a sort of half butterfly shape here with the right leg, and extend the left leg long. The left leg is fully relaxed. So in our Hatha style practice, Yang style practice, we're often cued to really engage through the musculature of the leg. But in Yin practice, we're encouraged to just let all that go. Let the big muscles soften here. If that causes any discomfort through your inner outer knee lines or right behind your knee, then keep the knee bent and perhaps bring a prop under the knee. So a block or a book or a rolled up blanket or rolled up towel, all of those would work well. And same with the knee that's bent. If there's any discomfort there or through the hip, you could prop up that knee. Again, block, book, rolled up towel, all work really well. And from here, we'll take this into a side lengthener. Different ways of approaching this. Again, you just want to find about a 5 out of 10, so moderate sensation here. Start by running your left arm down your left leg. Bring your right hand to your right hip. See how that feels. You might stay right here. You might find that you want to bring your left hand to your shoulder. And some of you maybe even reach that arm all the way overhead. The bottom arm you could bend to support your head. Or it might just be relaxed down, or it might be on your prop. You could look forward, you could look down, you could be looking up, perhaps if you have that top arm extended. Legs are relaxed, encouraging your whole body to soften here with every exhale. And inviting in a sense of renewal and vibrancy with every inhale. Remembering the sensations to move away from, those painful sensations, so anything stabbing, fiery, electrical, your body parts falling asleep. These are things to move away from. But if what you're feeling is some resistance, tension, dull aching or throbbing, pulsing, these are all okay sensations to breathe into. Last 3 breaths on this side. Remembering you can take those final exhales out your mouth if it helps you to release. Maybe offering a sigh. And please remember to come out really slowly. So top arm could come down, and then take your time, be really gentle, coming all the way up through center. Ooh. Pausing here. You might roll your shoulders out. And we'll switch sides. Extending the other leg, right leg. Bend your left knee in. That foot comes in towards the groin. Make sure that you're sitting equally here on both sits bones. The extended leg is relaxed, possibly propping up under the knee, possibly propping up under the bent knee as well. Remember, this is a new side, so things might be quite different. So just move, really deliberately, really mindfully. Start by reaching the right arm down the right leg. Left hand can come to left hip. Maybe there's an invitation to bring the hand to the shoulder and reach your elbow up towards the sky. Maybe there's an invitation to reach the arm all the way up and over. Be really kind to your neck and your shoulders here. So if that irritates your shoulder, don't do it. Bring the hand back to your shoulder or down to your hip. You don't have to have the arm extended. Maybe you're looking down. Maybe you're looking straight ahead or up. See what feels most appropriate, most interesting here on this side, on this particular day, in this particular moment. My teacher, my yin teacher, Bernie Clark, always reminds us that it doesn't matter what the pose looks like. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. I'm feeling this. And I'm assuming you are too. Send your breath into wherever you're feeling this, staying with that 5 out of 10 in terms of what you're feeling, not moving into anything aggressive or painful. And feeling that opportunity with every exhale to soften, to let go. And this lovely invitation with the inhale, inviting in a sense of vibrancy, renewal, spring renewal, freshness. Last 3 breaths here on this side, inviting some tone with the exhales if you like. Especially when practicing at home, we can make noise, which is such a treat. Don't always feel comfortable in a studio, but go for it here. And very, very gently and slowly, please start to make your way back up to a tall spine. Relax your hands and arms and maybe roll your shoulders out a couple of times. And we'll stay seated here just for one more. So bringing both legs now out wide, stretching through the legs. Again, same thing here. So legs are relaxed, and that might mean that your legs flop out. They might flop in. Your toes might point up towards the sky. Doesn't matter, but we're letting those big leg muscles release here. If you're feeling discomfort or pain along your outer knee lines or inner knee lines or right under the knees, you can bend the knees and prop them up. Okay, any old prop will do. We'll be taking this into a forward fold from here. So for you, that might be just sort of hanging out on your hands. That might be enough today. You might like to incorporate a prop. So you could have a stack of cushions or a bolster if you've got one, and come to rest over that. Maybe you stack your fists and rest your forehead on your fists, or you could cup your head in your hands. Allow your eyes to soften or close. So you're feeling for that first edge of sensation, that place where you're feeling something, but it's not too much and it's not too little, it's just right. It's another of Bernie Clark's cues that I love. He calls this the Goldilocks position. That just right position. Moderate sensation, 5 out of 10. And draw your awareness towards your breath. Feeling that sweet, gentle expansion as you inhale. And gentle softening contraction as you exhale. Just notice where your attention is. If you've drifted off, into thinking about the past, planning for the future, or daydreaming. Just really, really gently, without any judgment, gently guide your attention back to your breath, and to sensations in your body. Noticing where you feel this opening and what it feels like for you. We're at about the halfway point, so maybe you stay exactly where you are if you're still feeling that 5 out of 10. But if it's yielded a little, you could fold a little bit deeper. You could widen your legs a little bit. Or maybe what felt moderate now feels very intense, too intense, in which case you might back off. You could come up a little bit, draw your legs towards each other some. Just finding that 5 out of 10. And last 3 breaths here. Deep breath in. Exhale, release. 2 more. Last one. And slower than you think you can. Begin to press into your hands or your forearms to lift your heart, coming all the way back up to a nice tall spine. And help your legs to bend. So if there's props, just move the props off to the side and help your knees to bend, feet plant. Move any cushions out of the way from between the legs. Lean back in your hands and step your feet about mat distance apart. Let your knees rock side to side a few times. Moaning, groaning, sighing, yawning, it's all welcome here. Go for it. Oh. Whenever that feels complete for you, come to lie down either on your back or your belly or your side, however you feel comfortable. You'll just take that minute or 2 of rest in between poses. If you're lying on your back, you might like some support for under your head here. You could grab a cushion. The legs might be stretched out long, or if your low back feels sensitive today, keep your knees bent and your feet planted. Just pausing here. And I'll offer some metta, some loving kindness affirmations as you rest. And if you connect with these phrases, you're welcome to repeat them to yourself like mantra. And if these little phrases don't resonate for you, that's okay. Just let them float by like clouds. May I feel safe in the rhythm and flow of ever-changing life. May I feel safe in the rhythm and flow of ever-changing life. May I feel safe. May I feel safe. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Draw your knees in. Give yourself a little hug here. You can rock side to side or draw some circles with your knees just to release anything that got caught up there for you. And a couple of different options for the next pose. So if you're lying on your back body, you could stay here and take eye of the needle. Across your right ankle just above your left knee. And you could either bring a prop underneath that bottom foot. So maybe a block or a stack of books. And then you don't have to use your upper body. Or you could lift the leg, interlace your hands, and bring them behind the thigh to draw your legs in a little closer. Let your tailbone be really heavy. And head is relaxed. So that's option one. You might be really happy to stay just like this. And they give one more option for those of you that have maybe more open hips, not super tight, and no problems with your knees. You can roll to one side or just sit yourself up. Come to seated. Cross your legs at the shins and remember which leg you have in front. So it's not a tight cross and it's not a cross of the ankles, but rather a crossing of the shins so that your shins are not quite parallel to each other, but parallel-ish, and your knees are sort of stacked over your feet. This is square pose. And from here, you could take this into a forward fold to get into your hips. Maybe you bring a block or stack of books or bolster out in front to rest your forearms on. You could even let your head hang forward if that feels okay for your neck today. Some of you might be coming forearms right down onto your mat, like so. And then one final option, if I've got any super Gumbies out there, would be to come into fire log or double pigeon pose. So you bring that front leg up onto the top leg, and now ankles and knees are stacked, and you could stay upright, or again, perhaps you're folding forward. Be really mindful here, just moving into moderate sensation. So that 5 out of 10. Using your exhales to soften any tension in your mind, in your body, in your heart. And use the inhales to invite in a sense of renewal, vibrancy, aliveness. And relax what you can here, your jaw, your neck and shoulders, your hands. Notice where your attention is. If you've drifted away, just really gently draw your attention back to your breath, back to your body. This moment, right here, right now. And final 3 breaths here. Last two. Last one. If you're lying on your back body, you'll simply uncross the ankle from the knee. You can stretch your legs out or take some windshield wiper motions. And those of you sitting, you'll slowly lift your heart to move any props off to the side, very gently, carefully. Uncross, unstack your legs. Plant your feet, lean back in your hands, and take a few of those windshield wiper motions here. Oh, that's a good one. And then we'll find that on the second side. So if you were lying on your back, taking thread the needle, you'll simply do that on the second side. If you were sitting in square pose, you'll bring the opposite shin in front and start there. Remember, with these shapes that have two sides, we can be really different on different sides of our body. So just move slowly and don't expect that it will be the same experience on the second side. So you may have more or less tension to work with on this side of your body. Just doing what is appropriate on this new side without any expectations. So maybe you're staying here in square, or maybe there's an invitation to try out this double pigeon or fire log pose. Absolutely no pain in your knees here. If you're experiencing pain, then you want to back off. Perhaps taking this into a forward fold again. I'm definitely tighter on this side, so I can't fold as deep. See what's here, what's available for you, what feels appropriate. And offer your breath to any tension. Using the exhales to soften. Soften your jaw, your neck, shoulders, palms and fingertips. I'll share a Mary Oliver poem the last little bit of time here. This is called Storage. When I moved from one house to another, there were many things I had no room for. What does one do? I rented a storage space and filled it. Years passed. Occasionally I went there and looked in, but nothing happened. Not a single twinge of the heart. As I grew older, the things I cared about grew fewer, but were more important. So one day I undid the lock and called the trash man. He took everything. I felt like the little donkey when his burden is finally lifted. Things, burn them, make a beautiful fire. More room in your heart for love, for the trees, for the birds who own nothing, the reason they can fly. Enjoy your last 3 breaths here, using the exhales to let go, maybe inviting a sigh. Last two. Last one. Again, if you're lying on your back body, simply uncross your legs, bring your feet to the mat, maybe take some of those windshield wiper motions, letting the knees rock side to side. And if you're seated, you'll slowly lift your heart, lift your head, very carefully, unstack those legs, ay. Step your feet a little bit wider than your hips, maybe mat distance apart, lean back into your hands, windshield wiper the legs side to side. This is where I get embarrassed if I'm actually in front of a class of like a lot of people and my hips crack super loud. So I couldn't quite hear it here today, but they're cracking. Doesn't hurt though, feels like a nice release. Give your legs a little bit of movement here. And take your time to come to lie on your back body. Yeah, maybe you've got a little bit of support for behind your head. Just finding stillness here. If your low back feels sensitive, keep your knees bent with your feet planted. Otherwise, you could extend your legs. Arms could rest beside your body or maybe over your body. One hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Find stillness for your eyes or allow your eyes to close. May I be at peace with what has happened, is happening, and will happen. May I be at peace with what has happened, is happening, and will happen. May I be at peace. May all beings be at peace. May there be peace on earth. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Draw your knees in for a hug. Take a little rock side to side. And come into a twist from here with your feet planted. A couple of options. So you could simply pop your hips off to one side and let your knees come down to the opposite side and open your arms out wide in a T-shaped position or cactus arms. Or to go a little bit deeper, you could wrap right leg over left, pop your hips a little bit to the right, and then let your knees fall down to the left. Again, same thing, arms might be in a cactus shape with elbows bent, or you might have your arms extended in a T-shaped position. In either of those variations, if it feels like there's some space between your legs and where they hit the mat, you could bring a block underneath that bottom knee or even between your knees. And ideally, both shoulders are releasing down onto the mat here. So your whole upper back of the shoulders, back of the shoulder girdle is resting squarely on the mat. And your head can turn wherever it wants, so you might be looking out over the opposite shoulder or straight up towards the sky or even in the direction of your legs, finding stillness for your eyes or close your eyes. And draw your attention to your breath. And follow the pathway of your inhale. And follow the pathway of your exhale. Every exhale, there's an opportunity to let go and soften. Every inhale is an opportunity to start fresh, inviting in a sense of renewal, vibrancy, life force. And last 3 breaths here on this side. Last 2. Last 1. If your head is turned, draw your head back through center. Very, very slowly. Draw your legs back through center, hips back through center. If the legs are crossed, uncross them. You could take some windshield wiper motions here, or maybe draw your knees in for a hug. You might even round in like a little ball. And plant your feet. And we'll take the twist on the other side. Try the same variation. So if you had your legs stacked, you'll take that same variation on the second side. If you had your legs wrapped, you'll wrap the other leg on top and come into the cross-legged version, twisted roots. And arms can be out in a cactus shape or stretched out long if you've got room and that feels good. You might have your legs propped up with a block or book underneath the legs to support, or in between the legs if there's space between the legs and they're stacked. So if you can settle your shoulders down onto the mat here. And find stillness for your eyes, or close your eyes. Let the earth and any of your props really hold you here. And get heavy through your bones, muscles, and skin. Notice where your attention is. If you've drifted away, it's okay, no problem. Just very gently draw your attention back to your breath. And remember that you can start fresh, you can start over in any moment, in every moment, simply by noticing your inhale and your exhale. Breathing in, I am here. Breathing out, in the now. Breathing in, I am here. Breathing out, in the now. Last 3 breaths on this side. Last 2. Last 1. If your head is turned, draw your head back through center. Really, really slowly, carefully. Draw your knees back through center, hips back through center. And across the legs if they're crossed. Okay, you could draw your knees in for a little hug. Or maybe take some of those windshield wiper motions if you like those. And bring your feet to rest on the mat or extend your legs. Hands can rest on your body or beside your body. Just pause to let that settle. May I experience love wherever I am. May I experience love wherever I am. May I experience love. May all beings experience love. May we all love and be loved. Take a deep breath in and out. Shavasana is next. If you have layers that you'd like to bring over your body, definitely do that. You might choose to lie on your back. You could bring a prop underneath the back of your legs or your knees, like a bolster cushion or a stack of pillows or blankets, and perhaps some support for your head. Be really, really picky with your comfort here. Luxuriate in comfort. Make yourself the most perfect little nest. And as you settle, if you find that you're more comfortable lying on your side or your belly, those are great options too. Take a scan of your body. See if there are any adjustments you could make that would bring you even 5% more comfort, more ease. And take a moment to adjust if you need to. If you'd like, you could take a few final cleansing breaths here, using the exhales to let go of any tension in your mind, in your body, and your heart that might remain. Heels are heavy, rooting down. Back of your pelvis is heavy. Backs of your shoulders, arms and hands are heavy. Back of your skull is heavy. Eyeballs are heavy in their sockets. Sinking back like two pearls floating to the bottom of the ocean. Totally supported here. Nowhere else to be. Nothing left to do. Simply rest. If you're able to stay resting, if you have the time and you're really sinking in here, please stay, rest as long as you love. If you're feeling ready for some movement and you'd like to close practice with me, just gently let your head roll side to side. Feel for some life in your fingers and your toes. Eventually, you might take a nice full body stretch, a big yawn. Maybe draw your knees in for a hug. Take a little rock side to side. Keep your eyes really soft as you roll to one side and carefully make your way up to a comfortable seat to close practice. Sit however you feel easeful and comfortable. And once you find your seat, you might roll your shoulders out a couple times, maybe take a cleansing breath. Lower your gaze or close your eyes. Collect yourself here, find your breath. And take a moment to notice how you feel. Perhaps notice any shifts from when we started practice, whether they're mental, physical, emotional, or something else. They might be really dramatic or they might be subtle. Just notice the effects of your practice, your efforts. Your hands can stay as they are. You might wish to bring your hands over your body or together in front of your heart in prayer pose, whatever you feel connected to. Return to your intention if you had set one. And just notice if that's something you'd like to take with you to continue to practice, remember, intend. Or maybe there's a new intention for you here, or something else from your practice that you'd like to take with you, some discovery or quality or insight. And perhaps it's something that can be shared. In this way, we take the benefits that we receive in our yoga practice, in our mindfulness practice, and we take those benefits out into the world so that they may ripple out, radiate out to the benefit of all beings. Offering a gentle bow here to close. Bowing to yourself for making time for practice. In caring for ourselves, we care for our communities. And offering gratitude for anything else that you're feeling grateful for in this moment. When you feel ready, blink your eyes open. Come back into the light and lift your gaze. Thank you so much for sharing practice. Thanks for being here. Namaste.